everybody, I'm back again trying to finish up the tutorial that I started for the hat. This was the Regency style hat that I did some previous tutorials on, and we finished it up with just a piece of cereal box on the inside of it, and I said I was going to come back and show you how I finished it off. So here we go. After multiple attempts to purchase the right product, I finally got a hold of some buckram, B-U-C-K-R-A-M. I got it off of Amazon, and the buckram comes by the yard. I bought mine by the yard, and it's a stiffened woven substance, and it's got like a little bit of starch in it, just a little bit. Evidently it's enough to make certain hats. I took two pieces of it, did one way, one the other way, got them wet with hot water just briefly, did not wring it out, but let it kind of drip dry for a minute. While it was still hot, I put it over a form, which is basically all it is, an old straw hat sitting on top of a candlestick with a piece of tape on it. That bobbin, big bobbin. I glued it, the hat, to the form there so that I could work with it. And then this I covered with a piece of plastic that I taped around, and then I laid my buckram, wet buckram, over the top and pinned it down. Left it to dry. I happened to stick mine on top of my dryer while it was going, and have let it dry now for this is a whole day that this one has been on here. The next thing I would be doing would be pulling all the pins out, and after I got it all unpinned, I would have this shape. This is not a perfect way to do this. I'm not a hat maker. I don't have the right things, of course, to use. I wish I did. I'm going to move the camera. Hold on. I'm going to get a little bit closer. Maybe. There it goes. If I had some expertise or a little bit of knowledge, it would have been kind of easier, I think, to do the project. And instead of doing it backwards the way I'm doing it, we would have started with a nice stiff piece of buckram. This is not what I had in mind. It is a little piece that takes on the form, but to me it's just not hard enough. My next thing is, like today at Walmart, I picked up a bottle of starch, and I'm going to mix up some starch, and I'm going to spray one of these, probably the one on the hat form that I'm needing to unpin. I will spray it lightly with starch, probably on both sides. Let it dry thoroughly before I do this next part. And ultimately, all I've done is I have put this piece of buckram that has dried into my hat at this point, and now I marked it just with a ballpoint pen approximately where I'm needing to cut it, and that's where I'm at right now. I marked the front and the back. I'm going to take my yucky scissors, and real quick I'm just going to rough cut right around here into the shape that I think I'm going to need this to be. And then this is my test piece. We're going to just kind of see how this works. I did watch a number of videos on YouTube, and I looked up a number of sites to see how people make these forms for their hats. And very few gave me enough material to work with. You know, I don't have the knowledge or the know-how, so I just don't know. I think once this is covered and is glued in here, it will help some. I'm not going to say it's as stiff as I want it to be, because it's not. I would really like that to be good and stiff. I think the next piece of liner material I try to use might be a thing called cinema that I've noticed. It is a horsehair type. Used to be, it was made of horsehair that was woven together. Y'all have probably seen it and will know it, and maybe not by the name cinema. It may be called something entirely different, but basically sometimes your hats, like that hat that I just showed you that was just like from Walmart, it's made with like flat braids sewn together. That's not the cinema that I'm talking about. Cinema is things that, remember back in the 70s, the girls wore hats at weddings, you know, all the different multicolored hats, pastels and stuff. I'm thinking that might have been a cinema base to those types of hats. So that's what I have in my mind, but I'm not sure, y'all. But anyway, this is what I'm going to work with, because this is the money I invested in this stuff. And I want to know if anybody's ever worked with this, and if it's just me, user error, or if I just did not get a heavy duty, gonna come out real thick buckram. I just don't know. I'm not gonna buy any more of it, I'll tell you that. But I do have a bunch of it here now. I ordered twice because I didn't like what I got the first time. I thought I'd go with a more reputable dealer on Amazon, and now I'm getting something similar, a little stiffer, but it's not doing the job I really wanted it to do. So I've got it where I think I'm going to want it. I'm going to be putting a braid around the very back of the hat down here, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about the edge here, other than I did want the brim fabric to show some. So that's kind of how I cut the front of this piece. And I think I do want it that far out. So I'm going to set the hat aside and try to figure out where, there it is, I put this piece. This is some material from the lining, not the outside, but the lining of a wedding dress. This is that cheap inner material that is behind all of the silk, I guess, or whatever the dress was made of. And I'm thinking that's going to work fine for this purpose right here. So I'm going to snip a big piece of that out in between all the seams here. It doesn't want to cut with those cheap scissors, does it? Throw that aside. And because the interior of the hat, I'm going to hold it like a bowl here, the interior of the cap part here is going to be what shows. So what I do there is going to be smoothest. And I'm hoping it's wide enough to actually do this in one piece. That was a hope. It may be just shy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work all in one. This should be close anyway. Let's see if I can bend that over the sides. I think I'm going to start with a drop of glue down in the bottom here, a few drops maybe, and let that hold it in here and there, where it's the deepest part of like the interior of the hat, or the bottom of the bowl. And then I'll be able to come around the edge here. By the way, those two pieces that I laid crossways, after they dried, they did not stick together, but just a little bit. So I did go in there in between these two layers down here, and I glued them, hot glued them to each other. And I guess since all of my ink marks are still showing, I probably shouldn't have done that in ink either, because the interior of the hat will be showing if you look at it. All I'm trying to do at this point is to lay in this little piece of, whatever you want to call this stuff. It's a liner material. I'm just going to lay it in, gluing it around as straight as I can. I'm going to try not to get any seams in this. And I'm going to kind of cut around, get rid of some of that excess. And then hopefully, even though I have seams in my buckram, I'm hoping that it's not going to look really bad. I tried not to do that either, but I'm just not good at working with this stuff yet. So I'll probably never will be, because I'm not a fan of it. And there I'm going to have a problem. Let's see if I can get some there. That worked alright. Okay, that'll be the interior of the hat. And then to help me out around these curves, I'm going to trim down to the buckram. I'm just going to lay these over to the other side. Just going to pull them up a little at a time. And try not to dip my fingers in the glue as I do it. You can hear my husband upstairs maybe with our company. They have, their two boys are here visiting with us. They're a lot of fun, so they kind of get going when they get talking, so you may hear them. My friend Rebecca, I don't know if y'all all saw the video, which I hopefully will have uploaded by the time I get this uploaded. I'm having issues with my internet, and it's really ticking me off because they're not open when I have issues for me to ask for help. I've called at 3 in the morning when I'm really needing to upload my videos, and there's nobody there to answer the phone and help me out. So I'm kind of ticked off at this point because I don't do technology stuff very well, and I don't know what to do. My internet is free between 2 in the morning and 8 in the morning. And when I go to upload videos, y'all, I babysit my videos for the majority of the time. I want to make sure that's going to, I've had too many of them not work after I've, started it and set it aside for the night. Then it didn't upload, so I don't like that to happen either. So I usually kind of wait up and watch. And if not, then I do wake up during the time that it's uploading and just double check that it's doing good. But I can't do anything right now. I have reset everything I can think of on my, on my router, and unplugged and replugged and waited and done all the stuff that it says to do. So anyway, can't figure it out. But when I get it back, I'll upload the rest of those videos. I was talking about my friend Rebecca. She's here. So she made a beautiful wall hanging. And it was her first time. Now, we have crafted together, this lady, Rebecca and I. We have crafted together for years and years and years. We were members of the same church, and we did a whole lot of crafts for some of our Bible studies that we did. We would start out making crafts until Bible study time on Wednesday mornings. We did that for a long time. Okay, there's the lined buckram covering the interior of the hat, and I think that's going to work. And then I'm going to come around it and I'm going to put a finished edge around the whole thing. But it's not going to be the sturdy piece I had hoped for all this time. And I'm just going to have to finish it with what I have until I can do more research, I guess, or maybe spend some more money. I'm kind of depressed because I wanted to make more hats. I wanted to try to make more hats because I really enjoyed the process of the hat part. The lining part has befuddled me, so I'm not happy with the result, to tell you the truth, with the buckram part of it. I really wanted stiffer. And I don't want to spend $5 or $10 for the inside of a hat when or if I can make it myself using the right product. So, but since this is only for looks, not for wear, maybe I can just be content with a craft project out of it instead of a real hat. You know what I mean? Ooh, glue all over the place. That is stringing out everywhere. Okay, that got that all the way around. I guess I should have dropped a little bit in the middle, but oh well. Okay, there's that part, and it did kind of help a little, not a lot. I did find out that because of the materials that were used on their hats way back in the day, different types of buckram have different types of or amounts of stiffener in them, and if you got a hat wet, it would lose its shape. And that was, you know, you always see the little thing, oh, my hat, you know, as they start running in and covering their heads, because they did not want their hats to get wet. And now I know why, because it would lose its shape, and it would not be a good thing. So, okay, and then real quick, I'm just, where did I stick that? Gonna line it, the edges here, edge it with this. I really like that color. And I guess I'll start at the back. And the more I look at this, the more I'm thinking, because I have a glued edge right around here, I don't like that at all. So I may do a second one. Actually, I may do a pink braid right around that. I've got a pretty pink braid I'll do right there. So for this part though, where the lining of the hat goes in there, I'm gonna, right on that edge, I'm gonna glue down this edge piece. I've heard this called a number of different things lately on y'all's videos, and I'm not sure of the proper name, and I don't think it matters because I've seen it listed as well as a number of different things. It's a braid trim, or it's Chinese braid. I've heard it called, what else? Chain. Did I hear or see it called chain? maybe. And I've also looked it up when I was looking for it under upholstery trim. And I can find it when I'm looking under upholstery items. This may be upholstery grade. I don't know. Pillows especially use some of this as well. So if you're looking for it, you might look it up under some of those names. This is some gorgeous stuff. I love the sheen to it. It has like a silk thread in it or something on those. And it just captures the light beautifully. Don't do what I did and don't mark the inside of that. I was not thinking, obviously, when I did that. Because, yep, that does show my ink. If I'd have done it with a pencil, I don't think that would have shown through. And definitely it would not show through if I had used a thicker fabric for that. So, learning as I go. It's coming around okay. This is one of my favorite types of trim to work with because it goes in so quickly. You have an instant gratification, I call it. You see the result immediately. And because it's a finishing edge, it makes everything look gorgeous just, I think, right away. So, thanks again to Virginia for the wonderful idea on how to keep your edges of your braid trims from fraying by gluing it on the back before you cut it. And I'm just going to tack that down by reheating the glue that's already on it with the nozzle. And I'm going to actually stick my finger on it. It's not hot right there, so I want that to push down and dry good. Then I'm going to get this pretty pink trim. I had something whiter. I just found this. Y'all, I had got this bag of stuff at a garage sale like 5 or 6 years ago. And I just kind of keep it handy because every once in a while I'll notice that there's something in there I might want to use. And I looked at it earlier today without thinking about the hat. But now that I am thinking about the hat, those are not the colors I want to use. Although I hate plastic. Oh, y'all, I hate plastic. I hate the sound of it. I am sorry. Oh, I hate that sound. Oh, that's not much. Oh, there's a bigger piece here. I'm going to throw that out of the way. Well, that's a piece there. That'll work. I want that underneath there. I don't know, now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure I like those colors with it. This has a little more purple in it than these pinks on the flowers on the hat did. So I sure smashed that a little, didn't I? Let's perk it back up. Let's see. I think it's wide enough. I think that might work. It's kind of far enough away, I don't think it's going to be noticed like that. That was a weird piece. And I hate tape. Of course, all of these had tape on them. Let me close off this edge real quick. Masking tape, no less. Ugh. I guess it's masking tape or a frayed edge that looks like this, huh? Look at that. That'll ruin it. So, okay. I just got some new pieces in today in the mail that I had ordered, so I have been gluing ends for a little while today already. Make sure of my top or my bottom, and that is the bottom. So I'm going to start over here where I had put the ribbon going under, because that's where my glue starts and shows quite a bit from putting this edge on. And I can tell that I should have done a totally different way. So and I'm excited to be able to call this project finished after this, because I've fretted about this one for quite a while, especially this interior part. I just don't like it. But we're going to call this one the first try, and mistakes and all. I'm going to end it right in here. Thank y'all for watching. I'm going to go ahead and thank you, because this is about done. I appreciate you persevering with me through this one. I might do another hat sometime. It won't be real soon, unless I get a wild hair or something. Something pops in. Something I see on Pinterest gets my attention, maybe. But for now, I've had my fill of hats. And at least I know I don't need to buy any more buckram, huh? I do have buckram on hand. Kind of wanted to come up with something else to do with it besides a hat. Anyway, there's the inside, finally finished. And the outside. It does feel a little bit firmer. I'll give it that much. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. So, thanks for watching, y'all. And thank y'all for all of your sweet comments and stuff. I do appreciate that. Y'all encourage me by watching and commenting to try to figure out other things to make. And I have a list of things started, and some of them have been marked off because I'm just not that good. Some of them I'm not sure I'll ever try because of that, but other things I really want to try. I love trying things, so that's fun. Yeah, I think I'll stick that on. That's worthy enough to go in the craft room for fun. So anyway, y'all take care. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I hope the weather is beautiful where you are. So many storms, so many things going on. I'm always praying for everybody that y'all will stay safe with all the fires, all the hurricanes, tornadoes, y'all. That's so scary. I hope y'all aren't there. I have been there before in the tornado alley of Texas. Scary stuff. So y'all take care and be careful. And thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.